long, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to do it anyway because I'm super lazy. So I kind of like I mind powered my wisdom teeth away because it's been I am now 28. It's been 10 years and they said like, look man, next year you're going to need that removed because it's going to start to hurt, it's going to start to fuck up your smile, all of your teeth are going to go out of place. And I was like, nah man, I don't believe in that. I am more powerful than that. I was like DJ Khaled, you know. I was like, you know what, you're a fuck boy, you're a fuck boy, and I am strong, and my teeth will obey me. And they have. Actually,
Okay.
my teeth are just the same. It's been 10 years, and I haven't needed to remove them, which makes me think like maybe they weren't exactly right about like how long would they take to grow,
Well,
and how long would it take to fuck up my teeth,
well,
right?
I don't know. I know I'm not a, like, how do you say ontologo? I don't know. Anyway, but it's quite a different field. It's from being just a
Yeah.
general practitioner. But the thing is, my father got their wisdom teeth removed last week, so it happened just till his 50s. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So
So maybe, maybe when I'm 50, they're gonna come back with a vengeance. They're gonna be like, "Well, now we're gonna fuck you up. You know, now it's gonna hurt."
and actually, yeah, and actually, the thing is this: you got your. I mean, normally people get their wisdom teeth removed because it's a prevention. You know, it's for prevention. Maybe nothing's gonna happen. Maybe something's gonna happen, but if it happens, it's going to be a problem. For example, my dad got an infection in one of those teeth. Oh shit!
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's a problem. I'm feeling really weird saying teeth because I'm saying it wrong and I know what I'm saying. So anyway, the problem is that there is another disease that can be caused because they suddenly they can get swell and like super swollen, and you could get
Yeah.
an infection. And I wouldn't say the problem that's the main problem, not actually your teeth, your tooths, whatever, getting disorder or anything like that. The problem is that you get like this disease. I don't remember the name. It's like an inflammation or it's swelling or something like that. So that's the
Yeah.
main issue actually. No, the thing that of getting your teeth in perfect order or anything like that. So my dad got that at his 50s. So that could happen to you. Maybe not. Maybe yes. There is another thing like appendicitis, and I would
Yeah.
like to have my appendices and my appendix removed, but that's not going to happen
Why?
because you never know when that shit is going to fuck your life. So
Oh, oh, you don't want to, you don't want your appendix to be infected in a bad moment, like when you're trying to work a deal, like
yeah,
something
yeah,
related to business or something.
exactly.
You know, yeah, 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 yeah.
But
I completely understand that.
the thing is that it's a major surgery. You know, it's not like removing one of your teeth, your tooths, whatever.
Teeth. Yeah, you can say
Shit!
teeth.
I'm going to say teeth and fuck you all because I can't say it, man. Anyways, yeah, getting your
You
appendix.
can remove your tits. Hey, show me your tits. I'm
Fuck.
gonna remove one of them.
So yeah, that's a major surgery. So if that was possible, everyone would be taking out their appendices. But that's not going to happen. At least I don't think it's going to happen in the near future.
Yeah.
But it's the same for that little shit, you know. You're probably fine right now, but you never know when it's going to, you know, fuck your life.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, you know what? Look, there's science and there's medicine, but also there's the power of your mind,
the
of your
willpower.
will. Yeah, willpower. If you like, you have to believe that your appendix is never gonna fuck you up. And if you truly believe that, and you're a good boy, and you say your prayers every night to Jesus, nothing's gonna happen.
You know
You're gonna be
that's
fine.
well.
You're gonna be absolutely fine.
I
Forever.
find being a doctor, I find out that really hard to believe, you know. But I do believe that willpower is strong, and
It is.
the
It
thing
is
is,
actually.
for
Yeah.
example, there are a lot of things that we haven't studied yet. For example, our immune system, and I have this, and there are studies about it, like how your state of mind can actually change your immune system. So you
Yeah.
never know. That could be actually put it into another kind of diseases or whatever, because your immune system is pretty much all your defense, your barrier. Like that's
Yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
that protects you. So if that can be manipulated by your mind, what else could be? So I'm not entirely saying that it is a gag or a joke, talking about the willpower. I think actually it could happen. It could be possible that your mind controls even your appendices.
It could, yes, yes. And by the way, I was completely joking. I don't believe in Jesus at all. But what I do believe is that people have actually like seen cases of like that. It's that classic scene in the movies and series when the doctors say like, we don't know what to do. He has lost his will to live. And when that happens, when people lose their will to live, like they just break up, like all of their insides, like their immune system like breaks down because they just want to die. And on the other hand, like if, it has happened that people in the same situation have a will to live still, and they want to fight through, and they want to keep like remain alive, and they remain alive while they have strength. And as soon as as they like, I don't know, like it's there's been plenty of cases of that. Like people are in their deathbed, like waiting for their children to show up to say goodbye, and
Once
15
they,
minutes after,
yeah,
15 minutes after their children have come, they die. And
yeah,
that it has happened thousands of times. I would even say millions of times. So
yeah,
there has to be something there. There
yeah.
has to be like
And
some measure
the thing
of.
is, your mind and your body is controlled by a lot of things. One was just the immune system, but there are a lot of things like hormones, proteins, and other neurotransmitters or neurotransmitters, and all the
Yeah.
things plays a different role in your body. And that's what I say. Like you never know with science, because to be honest, one of the things that I hate about being a doctor in this time is that I am a doctor in this time. I would like to be born maybe 100 years in the future, because I know that right now there is I don't know how to say it, but there is a paradigm. I mean, a lot of our science right now are stuck in the same shit, and they are not getting to anywhere. For example, the approach that we have right now is using meds for everything, and not to cure diseases, just to treat them. But we are not curing anything. We are just making our lives longer. But there is no actually like science behind it. It's really stupid what we are doing right now. So that's one of the things that I hate about being a doctor right now. Science right now is not progressing. It's really stuck. And I think
It would be,
what?
oh, sorry, go on.
No,
Go
no,
on.
no. Don't worry.
Okay.
Talk to me.
It would be absolutely interesting to see like how planet Earth with the permission to modify genes and DNA would turn out. Like if Germany and Switzerland and all of those like super advanced countries, which have like the best medicine on Earth, like if they had complete absolute freedom to like actually fiddle with the DNA and make changes and like experiment with that. Like uh, since genetics was born, like I don't know, in the 80s maybe. When was genetics born? I don't
Well,
know.
the huge breakup occurred just starting this century, so with all the
Yeah,
genome. But
exactly.
listen,
So
to be honest, that's something that I like to, because when that I study a lot of genetics, and
yeah,
something that we used to talk with my one of my friends, and actually my professor at that time, is that we could be actually completely wrong about genetics. And that's the thing that I was saying. Maybe in 100, I don't know, 100 years in the future, people are going to think like what they were thinking. Genes are not the key. The key is this thing, because we are so interested about genes that we talk about DNA and all the stuff. But there is a huge chance that we are actually misleading our attention to the wrong, I don't know if you understand me. But the thing is,
yeah,
we
I
are.
kind of do, but it's like hard to. It's very hard to think of how a world with a different focus would be like. you could say the same thing about
I mean,
uh,
I
about physics and
yeah.
space. You know,
Actually, I want to
like
talk about it. Go on, and go on.
okay. So like on physics and computer science and stuff, you could say like, look, there's a chance that 1,000 years from now, scientists will say like, why were they so focused on general relativity? Why were they so focused on string theory and dark matter? Why were they obsessed with that? Since that was not the answer, right? Like you could
Exactly.
think like, well, what if, right? But from that what if to actually trying to think of a different key, like of a different path, it's near impossible to try to think to like what else could it be. Like it doesn't, you can't think about what else could it be until it has happened, I think.
Yeah.
Or unless you're some kind of super crazy genius, like the great, like the super great minds of science, like those guys who just have some kind of weird connection to the universe and they like just figure things out ahead of time. Like the guy who probably 2,800 years ago figured out the exact circumference of Earth
Yeah, I
with
want to
just
talk about it.
sticks in the desert. His name is Heratosthenes of uh, Athens or something. He was a Greek guy. That guy, look, that guy was insane. Like, what kind of fucking? That's a genius.
But that's
That's
the
a
thing.
fucking
That's
genius.
that's my
That's
point. Like everything. I mean, people that are really way ahead their times, like they are thinking in another time. Yeah, they tend to be called crazy, and it's natural
yeah.
because there is no way you can think that. And that's what I actually want to talk because recently I have starting to think, and you don't shame on me because this is
Well, of course
something
not. Come on.
I kind of
I
think
would
that
never shame you.
the Earth could be flat, you know. And the thing is, because the same mindset is coming, and I don't
Yeah.
know if because there was a time when everyone believed that the Earth was flat, you know, and they believed that because all the science that was around them pointed to that direction. And now we believe
Yeah.
that something completely different, but because all that surrounds us told us that that's the way to go, you know. In probably again in 100 years in the future, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe the Earth is not flat, the Earth is not a rounded. Maybe it's just a pyramid. I don't know. The thing is,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything's are constantly evolving. So I'm not saying that I think that the Earth is flat, but I'm starting to think that probably there is some kind of truth behind all the stuff. Maybe we are just seeing the things just white and black, and that's it. And I think we always need to be I don't know how to say it, uh, like wondering. We need to be wondering and questioning all this stuff, and not bashing on people that are actually thinking different because of what you said. Maybe one of those crazy fuckers actually have the reason, and I
Yeah.
don't know, and I don't know. I don't know what you think about it.
Well, like I completely agree with the philosophical point, and I think you mean it in a very like abstract philosophical way. I think what you mean is like you should never take things from granted because just like in Men in Black, yesterday you thought there were no aliens on Earth.
Exactly.
Today you know there are aliens, right? So I think that is absolutely true in a very pure and like a very intellectual and awesome philosophical way. But also I think there is like plenty of very intuitive and very understandable evidence for anyone to realize that the earth is round. And I'm not even joking. I'm not
No,
even
no, no.
joking
Don't
at all.
worry. I know.
There's like, and I would never make fun of you, of course.
No,
And
no, don't worry. Talk.
but
I don't mind.
but look, there's one that I like very much. This one I like very much. So, up until the 1800s, the Western world only had the star map, like the constellations of a certain area of the sky. Like only certain constellations were on the charts of astronomers. And there were no more, right? But there were tales of other constellations, like Eastern people, Chinese and people from other Asian countries came to the Western world, to Europe in the 1800s, and they, like, seeing those astronomical models of the sky, they would say, like, no, look, but there's other stars, there's other, so these early astronomers, they were like, well, how could there be any more stars? Like, how? So what they ended up doing was commissioning many trips by sea to the South Pacific, Eastern Oceans, and they would go to these distant islands where they would get the chance to look at the celestial sphere, to the sky from a different angle at night. And what happens is, like, when night comes on Earth, it kind of always lets you see, like, the same huge section of space during those hours at night for Europe and like those countries around Europe, right? It's always the same area. You move from point A to point B in area 1 of the sky, right? And in order to see area 2, you need to be on the other side of Earth, right? Like on a very remote region. So when night comes, you're seeing different stars come up. So it wasn't up until the 1800s that William Herschel, who actually was the main supporter of Edmund Halley, the guy who discovered the Halley comet, this guy Herschel, he's responsible for more inventions than pretty much anyone. This guy was an incredible scientist, astronomer, inventor, many things, and he financed Halley. Oh, no, wait, no, I have it completely backwards. Herschel discovered the Halley's comet, but the guy who financed Herschel was
Halley.
named Halley. He had all the money, and he was not a scientist. He was just a super rich guy, and he knew that Herschel was incredibly smart. So Halley gave him money, and of course, when Herschel discovered the Halley comet, he named it Halley's comet.
Yeah.
Because of his
Contribution.
boss. So he went to the other side of Earth, to Asia, to an island, and there he could chart the other half of the celestial sphere. And they use that term sphere because they see it moving around. Have you seen those time lapses?
Yep.
When you see like the Milky Way moving around.
Yeah.
It's super awesome, right? So I like this one because in theory, if we were inhabiting some kind of disk, and there was like a fixed set of stars moving over that disk, there would be no reason for you to have to be in a specific part of the disk in order to see other non-visible stars, which are not visible, like to certain parts of the disk. People who live in this Earth disk, they in any section of the disk, they would be able to see all the stars available, right? So the only explanation to the fact that you can go to another place on Earth and see different stars, or okay, the most reasonable explanation is that the Earth is round, right? And I like to say, like, the most reasonable, because that's super useful in science. Like you just think, okay, what's more likely, that Earth is a sphere, and Western science is not a lie, and the Earth is a sphere, and because it's a sphere, we have to go to Asia to see more stars, or all of science is a lie. It's a huge conspiracy. Everybody's in on it, and I just see it, like, on that particular area, I see it very unlikely. I completely agree with your point that you should question everything, and no one should take anything from granted, and everything I said should be taken apart, like, meticulously, and completely destroyed by people who know more, but I think it's safe to say that Earth is very likely to be round. I would not go into the camp of the disk Earth.
Well, the thing is,
this.
I mean,
Yeah, go on.
there is a point when you say, for example, well, I don't think that everything should be actually like debunked, because then there would be no progress in anything, because everything will be questioned. So yeah, I agree with you. I I'm not gonna say that it is a fact. It is a fact for me that the air is not flat. But as you said, I'm not going to leave like that in. I mean, I don't want to discredit this theory. I just don't want to put it into the term as a conspiracy. I just want to say it's another point of view, and that's okay. They can think whatever they want to think, because when you see it like as a conspiracy, then it becomes like a joke, and I don't know if it's actually a joke. I don't know. I believe what I believe, but that could be real, that could be false. I don't know. The other thing is that I don't know if was you the one who told me that, or I listened to this somewhere, and it's that sometimes the answer is the easy answer, because we tend to overcomplicate stuff, and sometimes the simple answer is that the one that is the simplest one, that is as easy as it is. And because I like to make, that I believe that we are an experiment and a controlled environment in a petri dish, and I think that I believe that shit. But at the same time, I know that it's kind of like probably I'm overthinking shit, and humans are just humans, and life is just life, and I'm going to die. What the fuck? So, but it's kind of boring when you think everything's so straight, like you don't question anything. It's kind of cool to talk about stuff. That's why conspiracies are cool, because that make people, I don't know, talk.
Yeah, I mean, look, of course it's not a joke. So some people take this to heart, and that actually, I think there's an expedition supposed to happen in 2019,
Really?
in which,
To Antarctica? All that shit?
to Antarctica, because what the flat earthers believe is that all around the Earth disk there's a wall of ice. That's what they think, right? So what they want to prove is that they can chart this area and that they can make their own charts. So they have confronted science, of course. They have confronted the established science, and they have said, like, okay, you guys are just lying to us. We're going to make our own science. Science has been like, okay, go ahead. You can do it however you want. And the difficult part has been to find financing. But they have recently been like blessed, as you could say, by many backers. Like they are growing very much as a community. So they are gonna embark on a journey to actually like rechart Earth, and supposedly like truly prove with pictures, with measurements, with evidence that the Earth is flat. What I'm afraid is that, of course, they're gonna spend all this money on this boat, and they're gonna travel around the world trying to prove their theory. And what I'm afraid about is that it will come out as false. I am 99.9999999% sure they're going to be incorrect, because there is too much evidence to the contrary of their theory. And that's not a problem. That's okay. But what I'm scared of is that they are going to say that somebody or something tampered with their theories, and they are not going to recognize, like they're not gonna have the dignity to admit defeat. Richard Dawkins has an amazing story about when he was studying biology in Oxford, I think. He had a professor who was like an old guy, like a super old school, super incredibly wise, like one of these sacred cows, as we call them here in Colombia. Have you ever heard that term? Oh shit! I think I got disconnected.
Don't worry, I'm listening.
Are you there?
I was talking to someone, but I was listening. Don't worry. Keep going.
Oh, okay. So Richard Dawkins had this professor who was like an old guy, who was like a super smart, respected guy, right? And this professor had a theory regarding some birds in England. I don't know exactly what the theory was, but the thing is that he had been working for like 45 years on that theory, and he had written many books about it and stuff. And one day, a researcher from America came into Oxford with the results of a huge research that he had made with incredible amounts of resources in America. And he exposed all his facts, all these like newfound evidence of tons of stuff regarding birds and biology, you know. And the thing is, it doesn't really matter like exactly what it was about, but the thing is that everything that the American brought to us, Oxford, completely debunked the theories of this old professor that Richard Dawkins had. Like all the theories of that professor fell apart because of what the American had to say.
Yeah.
And at the end of this lecture, of this huge lecture, in which those students were, they were incredibly impressed, and they were at the edge of their seats because they thought that their professor was going to stand up and like fight like against that, you know, like try to debate that. But at the end of it, this professor walked up to the guy and he shook his hand and he told him like, "Thank you, sir. I have been wrong my entire life, and you have
Whoa.
now proven me wrong. And thank you very much for bringing this knowledge into the university." And they, of course, they went crazy. Like all of them, all of that class of that year, like the young men that witnessed that, they became like, it is like a great contradiction to say this, but they became religiously scientific that day because of the reaction of their professor. Like how wise do you have to be? Like how cold must your head be? You know, how balanced to recognize something like that. And it's a beautiful story, but not everybody is like that. I'm willing to say that pretty much 99.99999% of people
Yeah.
would not have the same reaction. They would be very angry. They would go home and be very upset for many weeks. And like no one is like that. That's a reaction that's not human. That's impressive. That's an impressive reaction. And I think these guys with the boat, they're gonna have they're not gonna have that reaction. They're not gonna say, "Well, we were wrong." Of course, they're not gonna say that, because if to this day they still believe the Earth is flat, they will find an explanation to why they couldn't go around the entire Earth in less time that it's supposed to be. Because like alongside with the theory goes that also the world is not that big.
Yeah.
Like well, there's like a lot of information there, right? But what I fear is that they are not gonna take defeat easily. They're not gonna just say, "Okay, we were wrong." They're gonna make up some story that the government like, I don't know, like moved their boat when they were sleeping. I don't know what they're gonna do. But I know that if their minds are in such denial, they will remain in denial, because there are things that you can do to prove that the Earth is round, and that's something that they haven't done. And in science, that's very important. Like first, when you want to debunk something, you first go through all the tests that there are to prove something right, and you analyze those tests and the results, and you say, "Okay, these are the results. These tests are faulty. They don't work. This is not true. Now let's devise new tests," right?
Yeah.
But they haven't gone through those steps. So for example, the thing about the stars, they haven't done that. They haven't gone to Indonesia to analyze the sky and to take pictures of the sky there and to compare it to how the sky looks at night in Alaska. And they need to do that first. They should do that first before investing all this money in the boat, you know. But they will not do that because they think that in following those
Traditional
ways
ways.
of what?
No, yeah. They think probably if they follow those traditional ways of proving something, they'll probably get it wrong. Like they need to see actually what they believe, and they are.
Yeah, they have a really strange way about that. They're like, you have to see evidence with your own eyes, but
Exactly.
but yeah, of course you can just buy a telescope and see it for yourself. But they will say like, "Nah, if you try to look at the sky with a telescope, the CIA is gonna project a false image into your telescope, and it's gonna try to fool you that way," and stuff. Like they like do all of these mental gymnastics, you know. That is of course, I know that probably this doesn't apply to all of them. I know that there's some really crazy flat earthers that also believe in reptilians and like in a ton of other shit. I know that there's a ton of super crazy flat earthers, but I also know that there has to be many very reasonable, very
Yeah,
like you, super reasonable, super smart, like you telling me that you wouldn't think it's impossible, and you wouldn't make a joke out of it. That tells me, you know what, I shouldn't either. Because if you wouldn't make a joke out of it, and I respect you, and I respect your mind and the way you see the world, then there has to be many other respectable people who actually doubt about it. So yeah. So my fear is that it's a group that will be very affected by the ones who are crazy. That's
yeah, I know, like fanboys.
I
Like,
am.
well, not fanboys, like people that doesn't think. I don't want to say a bad word about them, but yeah, people that have like a close mind, and that's it, pretty
Yeah.
much. And I do think that actually that's what's going to happen. If not, they are going to fake evidence. Because why not? Why the hell no? I mean, they could do whatever they want. They could fake evidence and just say, okay, yeah, the earth is flat. The earth is flat. But at the end, as I said, it doesn't matter because we are in the matrix. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Whoa, but wait, I love that. You know what? I love that when I'm playing Ark, I think about that all the time. All the time.
man,
I absolutely love that because, yes, if you're in the Matrix, the rules can be tampered with, but and hear me out, the rules are set. But once they're set, and if the system is running, like if the server hasn't like restarted, and we're running like on the program, then you actually can learn the rules, and you can learn about the physics of your world,
Yeah.
and you can. So it doesn't really. It's weird, but it doesn't really matter whether it's a simulation or not, because the fact that it is a simulation doesn't mean you can't learn about the simulation and like learn everything you can, like observe it, like study it, and if it's the creation of a personal Judeo-Christian God, it also doesn't matter that it's a creation, because it's already created. You
Yeah.
can learn about it, you can analyze everything that this God has created. Like, it's very interesting to think about that. I think about that all the time. There is a thought that has come to my mind many times, and it's this: if there is a God, I think that if this is a respectable God, that if you're supposed to respect the intelligence of this God and his intentions and what he's all about, then this God wants you to live your life as if he doesn't exist, because otherwise you're ruining everything. You're ruining it. You're like, you should live your life as if there is no God, because if we are a creation of his, and he just wants to see us like work and exist and multiply and develop, then it's like an ant farm or a tank
Yeah,
of fish.
I mean,
So
and there is another thing. I don't know, but when I think about the petri dish, most of the time, that we as biochemistry people that are in labs put things into chemistry and into petri dishes, is because they want to analyze something about the behavior of the things that they are putting in that petri dish. So they set up an environment, a control environment, to see the result. So that means that if we are in a simulation or in a petri dish, we actually just need to behave as we behave, because the rules are set, and they are expecting us to do that and behave as we behave to see a result. What result? I don't know. And again, I'm just speculating. But as you said, if the rules are put in place, maybe it's not like that hard to believe that you can actually understand what are the rules, and pretty much that's what that you say. Like, another thing is that if the earth were flat, or if the earth has another shape, it doesn't matter, because as you said, the rules are actually put into place. So even if it's a simulation or a petri dish, it doesn't matter.
yeah, whatever the actual lore of our universe is, uh, it doesn't really matter. We should just like get to know it as best we could, and just keep on being human. Keep surviving. Like every living thing exists just for the purpose of continuing to exist. So I think we should just focus on that, and like just keep on sciencing. Keep on trying to stay alive, trying to keep existing, and maybe someday we're gonna figure out something big about the universe. But there also could be,
Oh, fuck.
and
Sorry. Something happened with my
no,
computer.
no,
Okay, keep going.
Neil deGrasse Tyson has said something that I love, and he has said like, look, maybe
Oh, fuck.
maybe there are some things about the universe that we cannot possibly figure out. Maybe there's things that are ununderstandable for humans, that are completely incomprehensible. Maybe there's a wall that we hit and we cannot go further because we are three-dimensional beings, and that's our limit. But of course, we're never going to know that unless we push it to that limit, unless we have to keep going until we find a wall. And that would be amazing. Like a wall of scientific discovery would be incredible, because it would then force you, and to go back to what you were saying, the only way for people to abandon a certain path is if you just can no longer go through that path.
Yeah.
So the only way scientists are going to stop like pumping antibiotics into everyone for every single flu is if one day, like, simply like, and of course this would be like a catastrophe for the entire earth. But
What you're going to say is actually happening right now.
exactly, but it will happen. It will happen.
It's happening.
It's
happening. I'm telling you.
Just antibiotics stop working. They don't work anymore.
Now I mean, that's something that's happening, and that's something really worrying, because I don't remember how many years has been since there hasn't been a creation for an effective new antibiotic
of a new one. Oh,
and we are actually reaching a point where, I'm going to say this in Spanish because it's quite complex to say in English, but the thing is, hay ciertos antibióticos que están hechos específicamente para ciertas bacterias, y las bacterias han mutado rápidamente, y hoy en día existen bacterias resistentes, multiresistentes y resistentes a antibióticos multiresistentes. Y ese es el problema, es que cada vez más están apareciendo estas bacterias y no están apareciendo nuevos antibióticos. Entonces no es para friquear a todo el mundo, pero hace ya unos buenos años que muchas personas están muriendo porque no tenemos forma de combatir eso. And that's the point when I'm actually thinking we are doing things wrong. We are thinking wrong. And that actually, man, I really love this conversation, because what you are saying is actually true. We are like going through a path and there is no longer that path, and we keep like hitting against this wall, and no one knows actually. Well, all doctors and med community and health community knows that we are actually
but
stuck.
we haven't really hit the wall, because like, I know
we're squeezing that shit till we can. I mean, we're trying to get the most.
Yeah, but let me tell you this.
Yeah, sure.
The day we hit the wall is the day the little baby, the new royal baby in England dies because there's no effective antibiotic.
Okay.
That's the day we hit the wall. We hit the wall when Trump's daughter dies because there's no antibiotic that's effective. Those are the walls. Not just someone in our country, not just someone in Asia. Of course not. The wall has to be someone. Many someones actually. The wall has to be a goddamn, like a tragedy. It has to be biblical. It has to be absolutely horrible, horrendous. It's gonna be terrible, and I wish it would never happen. I wish people don't let that happen, because it would be absolutely terrifying. It would be awful. The loss of life would be horrendous. Just a horror movie, a science fiction movie without the happy ending is what that.
But that is actually, I mean, what you're saying is it could happen anytime soon. Like, we can't.
Exactly.
It's just as possible as, it's actually way more possible than the Earth is flat. That could happen tomorrow.
No, it is. And you know why? Because we're seeing evidence we're seeing actual physical evidence of it happening like right now. So I hope some very smart people. I hope Elon Musk just saves us all. I mean, he just has to figure out something. I know
Well,
he will.
I
And you know
know.
what?
I actually know.
Oh,
I think that there are people that we actually don't know that they are working in their labs like hell, just doing as much as they can to, like
yeah.
what I was saying, just thinking different, like trying new things. Like they probably just give up into antibiotics, and not. I'm not saying. I'm just saying antibiotics because that's my field. But whatever they are
Yeah.
doing, they are trying things in different ways because it is impossible that two stupid people are talking in this stream and that's it. No one else is noticing. Like everyone notices this kind of stuff, and I think there are a lot of smart people just trying their
Yeah,
best to, obviously. But in this
out
case,
there, there's a guy that 30,000 years from now, uh, artificial intelligent, almost gods like androids who can teleport across universes will look at that guy and think, you know what, that's a fucking genius. Like right now there's a guy that's gonna fix the antibiotics problem, and
Yeah.
and that guy is never gonna be, he's never gonna be forgotten. That guy is gonna be, he's gonna get laid like crazy, he's gonna get all the fucking pussy in the world because he's gonna fix everything.
well, better he get
And you know what, I love that saying of and I don't know if there's an equivalent in English, but it's that one about that the bad plants never die, the bad grass,
Yeah, I don't know.
and we are fucking terrible. We are the worst grass there is. We're not going anywhere, son. We're just getting worse. Like we are herpes on the universe.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
not gonna get rid of us. It's not gonna get rid of us.
But
I think it's very unlikely.
What I would like is to live in a. I mean, I would like to see that huge, tremendous discovery or whatever is going to happen. I would like to live to see that. For example,
I think we will.
I hope so, but I would like to see something like that. I always tell you this, but I would like to live to see an oasis, like a really completely digital world,
my
a
God,
VR,
yes.
completely
Oh, yes.
submergible shit, like the oasis. And I think we are going to live, and that's the only thing that I want, not to die before I see that, and just go on a trip into different worlds and see a lot of shit, and that's it. That I can die now. That's my best.
The first establishing shot of the oasis in the movie, when they go through like
All the
all the
worlds.
realms,
Yeah.
all the worlds, that's one of the most beautiful sequences I've ever seen in my life. That's incredibly well done. That's a masterpiece. That's why Steven Spielberg is who he is. That's just amazing. And I know that we will see that. I am absolutely sure that we will. I'm sure. I'm completely sure. I mean,
I'm sure you
just
also.
just think about the fact that Nolan Bushnell saw Minecraft, which is actually the first virtual universe with its own physics and sets of rules, and it is a little self-contained universe. It's a very simple universe, granted, but if we were able to do that, and that's another thing. Like when you say like we may be the Matrix, my take on it is that the chances of us being the Matrix are super high, incredibly high, because if the universe is almost 14 billion years old and the human race is as we are right now, has only been for the past 100,000 years, that's nothing in universal scale,
Yeah.
So there has to be something out there that has existed for a fucking long time compared to humans. And if something out there has been alive for maybe 1 billion years longer than humans, that's already God compared to us. 2 billion years, twice as God compared to us.
Yeah.
So, and the universe is 14 billion years old. So there's bound to be something that has the software capacity to simulate us. And actually, we're not far away from that. I would say that we may be, at worst, just because it moves super slowly, we are at worst 100 or 150 years from simulating the real universe
I
perfectly.
think I think we are
Actually creating
I think it's going to happen early. I don't know why, but the thing is, this is going to sound super stupid, but as I told you, I proved I take a little like I was playing like probably 15 minutes or 30 minutes of VR in the PlayStation, and yeah,
Yep.
it's actually really there is a lot to work like a lot, but once you try it once, like you kind of feel it, you have the sense of okay, this is happening, this is actually happening, real VR
It
virtual
is.
reality is here, and it's going to be better in a few years. I can bet you that.
You know what gave me that feeling?
What?
And you know exactly what I'm going to talk about. That smart car that I mentioned in that certain something.
Yeah, yeah.
That smart car and the robot that has the Saudi Arabian nationality.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Those two things to me say, boy, you're in the future now, boy.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking with portals. Now it's the future. It's
the future.
Oh, that and did you see that tech demo of the Vibe where some guy was like sculpting something in 3D, like
Obviously,
he was inside his own sculpture. I saw that and I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. My eyes got welled up, like tears fell from my eyes thinking of someday actually being like in front of my creation, I was thinking of that tech demo like scaled. I saw that tech demo and I thought of the early Nvidia tech demos from 7 years ago, 8 years ago, that were fugly. They looked horrible. Those old Nvidia tech demos. Well, 8 7 years, 12 years ago, like the old tech demos for graphics cards, and how far have we come? And then I saw this tech demo of this guy creating a whole sculpture in Vibe. Like he was in the VR space creating something and walking around his creation. And I thought, wouldn't it be the shit? Wouldn't it be incredible to create a character, like to make a 3D concept art illustration, like in all the grandeur of what we're seeing? Imagine what you've been doing with photo montage, but instead of painting over still images of buildings, you're actually painting many sides of the model of a certain building and painting it from different angles with different lightings in different angles, and painting characters that are behind walls, and just building this. Like, I don't know. I saw that and my mind just exploded. I was just, oh my god.
That's actually happening. The thing is that that's actually happening now. Yeah, we are living the fucking future.
But it's not like, okay, yeah. Precisely. Those things give me that feeling. Those things give me the feeling we are on the future. Drones everywhere. Like, drones actually working and you can control them with your phone. That gives me that feeling. The guy who made a flying suit, have you seen that?
Yeah.
Real life Iron Man.
Yep.
That fucking guy, he's insane too. Love the guy. That's impressive. He's gonna keep doing that. Elon Musk has to be working on some super crazy shit underground, like top secret. And you know what actually kind of scares me? The guy who was Elon Musk's partner when they were creating PayPal.
Yep. Who is?
He's like a real life supervillain, because he's the opposite of Elon Musk, and people say that he kind of hates Elon, and that he is a genius too. Some people even say he's smarter than Elon, and people are saying that the guy is working on secret technology projects that he doesn't want to show to the rest of the world. He's like the evil Elon, So that's, knowing that, I'm like, oh my god, we're in a fucking shit show. Like that, and Donald Trump is the president of the U.S. and Kanye West is gonna run on 2023.
Yeah, what the fuck with that shit?
So I'm like, dude, we are living in the alternate Earth where this is happening. Like we are one of the alternate Earths. Somewhere there is normal Earth, Somewhere there's normal Earth,
Yeah, it
but
seems like
we're not normal Earth. We are one of the
completely
weird
agree.
ones. We are one of the weird ones. We are crazy Earth, and we are in the future. We absolutely are. I believe that. I like a comment that Jose left here. He said, "Well, I actually like many comments that he's been leaving. I think he's been listening to us like
Yeah, I've been
carefully,
listening. I've
and
been I've been
I
reading all the
think he likes the
comments,
conversation.
but I don't
Yeah.
wanna like interrupt you when you are talking because it's actually quite entertainment. So yeah, no, yeah, sure, it's cool to hear
Okay,
you.
so first of all, one of my favorite comments from him: it's easier to cheat on somebody than convince them that they were cheated. That's actually an interesting insight. Uh, if the rules are set, maybe the programmers created a couple of cheats so I can have more money or something. Well, yeah, I mean, just make a YouTube channel about Frozen Elsa and Spider-Man, and you're gonna be swimming in money. And they are still working. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Like
but
there's new
that's
there's
act-
new Elsa and Spider-Man stuff.
that's actually
There's
quite. Yeah, that's true. There has to be a. Well, let's suppose that we are actually in a controlled environment, a matrix. There has to
yeah.
be someone that knows that we are in a matrix, in the matrix, and I don't know what they are doing. What are those people? Let's suppose, let's just say, yeah, we're in the matrix. So what kind of people they are? Like, if they know where we are, they are.
You know,
I don't know. Tell
I
me.
think
Talk to me.
I I think you don't have to be I think you don't have to be aware of the cheat codes. Like you don't have to be Neo to survive in the Matrix. You just have to be a good player. Because Neo is like someone who broke the game, right? But if you're a good player, you can have a pretty nice time and you can enjoy your life. And I think examples of good players are people who properly take advantage of things like Bitcoin, things like YouTube, startup companies, people who are like super, like they take the right chance at the right moment, and that gives them the possibility of like having an easy time in life. Maybe not easy, maybe not completely easy, because life is never easy and it's always effort, but it is easier than the way some people have it. I mean, some people work like hell, and they work very bad jobs, very very sad and depressing jobs, and they are not paid very well. And some other people have been able to find really smart ways of getting out of that. Of course, some people have advantages to get out of working like super hard. Some other people don't have those advantages. Some people have obligations with their family. They have to take care of someone. Maybe it's not easy for them to start something creative and stuff. But I know that there's a lot of people that could have had the chance to do something else, to make a startup, to invent a product, I don't know, to start something creative and actually take advantage of it, and they haven't done it. Uh, Either because they want to play safe or because they are scared of it. I don't know. And it is scary. Like, and as you know, we've both been through a very bumpy road regarding taking creative chances and stuff. And it is super scary to take creative chances. But I think I legitimately think that one of the ways to cheat the Matrix is to take a creative chance, because when it works, you're set. You can then try new things. You can then innovate in your life, and or you can then get depressed because you realize that there's nothing there's nothing else inside you that needs to be I don't know, explored or whatever, and you feel depressed and you get addicted to drugs. I don't know, like that. Sometimes when people take creative chances and then get super rich, then they get super depressed.
So
And
something that I have
and
noticed,
all.
and I don't know if that's something to take in mind for what we are talking about, but most of the people that are really, I'm not going to say smart, but they are really invested into something and they succeed in that something. They are like mentally impaired in some way, and I have noticed that in a lot of persons when they get, like, for example, one of my cousins, I would say he's extremely smart, but he always struggled with depression and suicide thoughts and a lot of bad disease, mental diseases, and you can see that in another kind of type of people. You always see that those fuckers that are like super smart. Again, I don't want to say that it's smart is the word to that, but they are always weird, and weird not because they look in some way or they maybe are they maybe seem to be awkward, but they have things that they haven't figured out. And I'm saying this because we tend to think that what I was saying, no? The smarter people are probably cheating on the matrix and anything like that, but they probably are not aware of what they are actually doing. I don't know if that makes sense. They are.
Well, what I think is that like people who don't do very well with money, they don't have the time to be depressed. That's the thing. Like they don't. Sometimes they don't even have the time to be alive. Like
Yep.
there's some people that I know who like work 2 jobs, and aside from that, they are studying English, and aside from that, they help their I don't know their aunt in the weekends to take care of their nephew, whatever. And they do a billion things. They don't do anything for themselves. They are always busy, and these people don't realize that they're depressed until they have some kind of mental
Freedom.
breakdown when they're like 45, or when they suddenly get freedom because they suddenly
Yeah.
get money,
Yeah.
and then they go travel around the world, and they realize that during the whole trip they were sad and they don't know why, and then they come back home and they buy a house, and then
Nothing
in the
that
first
makes.
night in the first night in the house they realize that they're sad and they don't know why, and
But
it starts,
here's the
it
thing.
gets like super dark. And
The thing is,
Yep.
being rich is a trap as well as being poor, because and you, I know I don't want to offend anything, but anyway, the thing is when you
Offend
when you
anything?
don't have enough money to survive, you are always struggling to get money. No matter what, that's your main thinking. Your mindset is to get money. So you don't think about your dreams. You don't think about what you like. You don't think about where you want to be or what would you like to be. Or sometimes, for example, I know most of my friends, they study medicine because everyone thinks that medicine is a great career. I don't know, and they never thought about what they actually like. So
Yeah.
if you never have and one thing that I realized once I graduate, everyone start this race in their lives to get money and to get well-being. Well, I don't know, to get a huge wage, and you don't stop to think what actually you want. So probably you're not going to realize about it about maybe when you're 50, what you were saying. But if
Yeah.
you take your time, and I think that's what I did, and I just stopped my time for a couple of years to see what I wanted, and I realized a couple of things. And first of all is that I actually was depressed because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, and if I followed that path, I would be more depressed in a couple of years. But the other thing that I realized is that the path that I'm choosing is actually quite risky, and it could make potentially I don't know, maybe disappoint me, the choice that I made. But actually,
Yeah.
but the thing that made me happy is that at least I had the time to think about it. Most people don't even think about it any time in their lives. They just, they are in this race. They are just competing, and they don't care about anything else because they don't have the time to think about it.
Yes. Exactly. Some people just don't have the time to think about life, think about deep stuff. To just do a stream and talk shit for 2 hours, and talk about flat Earth, aliens, the Matrix being real, super killing bacteria, and existential crisis when you're on your 50s. Like, those are some fucking subjects for a stream, my man. That's impressive.
I'm going to leave
Um,
this online because it has been it's been really embarrassing because I know that I'm struggling a lot just speaking, but to be honest,
you're not. Stop.
but it's
Trust
quite
me.
hard. I mean,
It's okay.
Here's the
It's
thing.
okay.
I feel, and this is a strong word, but I feel kind of like retard when I'm speaking because.
Don't. We shouldn't say that.
Sorry,
That's a no word. That's
Okay, I feel dumb. I feel dumb when I'm speaking in English because I can't express myself as I want, and
Yeah.
normally,
Yeah,
and it's annoying. It's just annoying. But I think the best way to overcome this shit is just speaking.
it has to be. It has to be very frustrating because you're a very articulate guy in Spanish, and plenty of fancy words. You're a doctor, you have like a certain level in Spanish, and I know it must be really frustrating to try to express all of that in English, and maybe bump into certain obstacles while doing it. But anyway, what I like. Okay,
Well,
so
okay,
that's
keep going.
that's just gonna get better if we do it more. It's as easy as that. And what I was gonna say is that, yeah, I think the world is very difficult because sadly a lot of people don't even have time to even think about their lives. Uh, and something that is an even scarier reality, and I don't know how people are gonna take this. I hope this never goes like super viral, because this could put me in a lot of trouble. But I think the reality for most people on Earth is that if they had the time to think about their lives and to truly look inside, they would get cripplingly depressed. They would get like they would suffer, because truly meditating about life comes with a certain like solemn sadness, that really special kind of sadness that you get from like really good science fiction. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Hmm.
Like that special, that juicy philosophical crisis, like that little existential doubt that you get, and you kind of feel like shit for a while, and then you feel a little smart because you got depressed with that, and you feel proud of the fact that you appreciated the science fiction, and then you just think, you know what, I shouldn't even be letting this stop my day, because what's the point? If there's no point in anything, if nihilism is truly uh, a true way to look at the universe, then it actually also doesn't matter if I'm depressed, and I shouldn't get depressed because it doesn't matter, because nothing matters. So let's just be happy and watch TV. Let's just be happy and watch Netflix. Let's be happy and play video games. Let's be happy and draw and paint, do creative stuff. Just enjoy life while you're alive. But getting to that last part, I think not everyone can. I think not everyone can do it. Not everyone can just say, you know what, yes, the universe is a scary place. This is like madness. But whatever, I'm gonna go watch a movie. Like, no, not anyone can do that. So I think that
No.
it's dangerous. It's dangerous because if you have a mass of millions of people going into that same crisis at the same time, that could be a potential like catastrophe. That could cause big trouble, huge trouble.
Well, I don't think that is hard to get into that state of mind.
Mine,
I think
mindset.
I the thing is to be that what I think is hard is to stay in that mind state, like keep on that track, because I have had times when I feel like that, like fuck it, I know that this is a shit of world, or I know that the rules are set, or whatever I want to know, but at the end I just want to draw, and I don't give a fuck about poverty, I don't give a fuck about diseases and anything that is surrounding me. And that's pretty much my philosophy. Well, philosophy, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
No.
But I don't give a fuck about, for example, vegan people, and I know that shit is quite an issue, but I don't get. I don't want to overwhelm myself with all that stuff. But at the same time, some I came out with some periods of my life when I need to look to that stuff. I need to be involved with that stuff, and that's when I start to get depressed. When I give a lot of importance, or I don't know, like a huge value to those thoughts. But yeah, I think it's easy to understand it, but it's quite hard to keep on that track. To just I don't give a shit, and I would like to don't give a shit about everything and just do whatever I want, but it's quite hard.
It's hard. Yes, it's very hard. Uh, as we've been saying, like you can only do that like sometimes when you have a decent job, when you can make a decent living, which is our case. Thank God, thank Jesus that it is our case. We can make a decent living, and also thank God it leaves us enough free time to also like walk around, have a coffee, and think and say like, you know what, with my free time, I want to do a stream. I want to I
Well,
want to. I don't know. I want to waste my time. I have this free time. I'm gonna waste it. I'm gonna go home, play Ark, and waste it online doing a live stream of Ark. Like, that's great. The fact that we have that advantage is great. But what I'm saying is like, if you place that advantage into all of the world's population, it would be it.
okay, yeah, I get it. Now I get it. It would be a mess. I don't know what will happen actually. What do you think that it will happen?
Baxter, which I think to you in some other stuff. Remember, Baxter?
No, no.
or
I'm
or you don't well, okay, so
talking.
Baxter is a robot that they're gonna start selling in like 2021,
Ah,
2022.
okay. I remember.
He's a robot that can learn whatever you want to teach it by just watching. So if you assemble an iPhone in front of him, he's gonna be able to assemble the iPhone too. If you sweep the floor, if you wash the dishes, if you walk,
So that? Shit, I think I lost him. Let me see Discord.
is gonna be beginning of any matrix. You know, that whole, like, robots are here now on Earth, and now they do all of the first tier jobs. They do all of the working class jobs, and they do it better than a human because they don't go on vacation. They don't ask for free days. They don't get sick. They don't have kids. They don't have a home. They are perfect. They are the perfect worker. So I submit to you what what you think about?
No, I was thinking something stupid because I think about this stuff quite often. I should be in that. I don't know. The thing is, I thought for me is something that is going to happen eventually if we keep pushing robots to this point. That's not a conspiracy or anything like that. That's a fact. You know what you were
Yes.
saying. The fucking robots are not going to be tired. They don't have kids or anything. They just need to work and they are going to do it. So I was thinking, eventually we are going to be completely obliterated from Earth, and they're going to be just robots. So they are going. I was thinking if I don't know, like war and fights and conflicts about like the ones that we have as a society, they will have to face that kind of conflicts because
Yes.
I don't know if they are going to get to a point where they are going to fight each other's. You know, like
Yes. What I want for the world, and hear me out. The best thing that will happen to humanity is that at some point, no more human lives will be lost at war, because it will all be super good gamers manipulating the best mechs in the world, fighting each other, like in space, in the North Pole, like some super amazing fights. And the outcome of these fights decides whatever the fuck. So Russia says, you know what, I want this country. And the country says, you know what, fuck you, get out of here. So Russia sends a super awesome mech, and this little country
I know that
sends another one. What?
I know that you maybe are telling it as a joke, but
No, I am not. I am not joking. No,
I hope
no,
so
I'm not
because
joking.
I hope
I'm not
so.
joking. I'm not joking because hear me out. This is why I'm not joking. So
Man, what the fuck? So that wait.
To know-
Repeat that because you were cut from the stream for a
oh
second.
well,
Repeat
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm sorry. So check this out. Wars cost money. Nobody wants to waste money. So countries are gonna build. Let's say South Korea builds 10,000 Gundams, fucking badass Gundams, incredibly amazing. Russia builds 30,000, 50,000, because they are huge. They are a monster. they are an industrial machine, you know. So
Yeah.
they build like 3, 5, 6 times as many Gundams. And then Russia wants to take something from South Korea, but South Korea says, you know what?
Fuck it.
Stop it right there, Russia. You and me, the moon, right now. If Russia, if Russia sees that they would lose billions of dollars because the South Korean Gundams are way better, if they realize that wasting only 10, only 15 Gundams you know, then they saved money. You know what I mean? Because
Listen,
they shouldn't go to war if they know they're gonna waste all of those robots, because those robots are expensive. So I bet that at some point in the future, a conflict is gonna be resolved by
a mech fight.
two super amazing machines fighting each other, and I know that shit is gonna be live streamed, son. That's gonna be live streamed
Listen to me.
because who wouldn't want to watch that? I mean, what the hell?
The
We
thing
all
is-
want to watch that.
The thing is, I don't know if you remember, but I was actually creating like an IP, like a secret IP for an art book, and pretty much what you just said is that IP. My story was that. Like, it sounds
Yeah.
silly. I didn't want to talk about it because it sounds silly, but my main it was a dystopian future as always. And the thing is that we are so ahead that conflicts are resolved in a tournament of
Sorry,
mechs.
sorry.
Okay,
I also got a bit of lag.
okay.
Something got cut
What I
off.
figured out is that in the future, probably there is not going to be enough money or anything to just waste it in a bunch of mechs fighting. No, that's not going to happen. So in my IP, what I thought is that it's going to be a huge tournament, and obviously I was going to design the characters for every team. Like, do you remember that a mech that I create that in
I
a
remember.
stream? Well, it has like different types of mechs. Like, and the idea was that the conflicts were solved in huge arenas from different parts of the world and probably in the universe, and they were going to fight each other for resources of probably for a planet, and that's actually more efficient because they just waste a couple of mechs, and that's a conflict. And that's what I was thinking, like creating all these characters, like the mechs for Russia, the mechs for Germany, and I have some designs, but I actually thought the idea was a little bit stupid, and at the end I just changed my mind. I just create a different complete story, but that was the original one. And when I really appreciate that. Actually, I'm not that crazy because, or we are both
No.
crazy.
Oh man.
Because,
Well, I think you know what? That's actually a very wise way to see it. Maybe we're both equally stupid.
yeah.
Maybe we're both a little bit too silly, and we just want to see robots fighting, and that's it.
I think that's
But
probably.
I don't know. But I like the idea.
Yeah,
I
I like
love
it
it.
too.
You should work on it because you would do an amazing job with it. No man, I mean, I know that's gonna happen. Like, exactly what you said. Do you think there's not people who are slightly more stupid than us and are also billionaires? Of course there are. That Korean guy, the guy who's
Yeah.
building Method 2.
Oh, actually,
Method
about
2
that.
is science fiction in motion. Method 2 is already a huge mech.
Yeah, no.
That thing can kill a man. That
And-
thing can
and-
already kill a man.
And you know why they do it? They did it because Vitaly Bulgarov, the man who designed it, he was hired for that company, but he just designed it because when they reached to him, because he said, I always get reach about for people to design robots, but I can't design robots for everyone. But the thing that convinced him of designing the Method 2 was that these fuckers in Korea wanted a robot just for the sake of creating a real mech. And so that's the only.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about what is going to happen about this mech. They just want to create a fucking mech, and they want it with legs and with arms and all that shit that we always discuss that is useless. So when he heard that, he was like, I'm in, because I like the idea of just being silly and creating something for the sake of creating it. So that's actually the story of the Method 2. I mean, they are stupid enough to create it.
You know what I envision. I am tempted to think about a future in which Russia produces like a really objective and grounded and really reasonable war machine, like something that has wheels and it has some turrets and it maybe has some boosters in order for it to get like a jump into a helicopter or whatever, but it doesn't really fly and it doesn't like run around, it can't jump, it doesn't have legs, so
Thank you,
and
Jose.
it doesn't have arms or anything. So maybe they produce that, and maybe just because the Koreans were so insane and they wanted the goddamn thing to walk around and have arms, maybe that's the tactical advantage, and in a battlefield, the Korean robot picks up a tank and uses it as a shield, and it throws the tank at the other thing, and it runs around and dashes through to the ground. And I'm imagining it like, what if the mech could actually move around like an expert MMA fighter? What if it was nimble, strong, like fast? Like what if it could kick and punch like super strong? Like if they waste money doing that, because it's a waste of money. It's a retarded waste of money. But if they waste money doing that, that thing could save the earth someday. Like that thing, like I want someone to waste the money, because we need to have that kind of power in a warehouse somewhere, just in case something shows up. I don't know if aliens. No. I don't know what.
That's exactly what I think.
just in case something really dangerous shows up. And you know what? I am not afraid to say this. I am gonna sound like an autistic man.
Don't say
right
no,
now.
That's even worse than Richard. Damn it. Okay, keep going.
I'm gonna sound terrible, but I truly believe this. believe this. Kaijus are not far-fetched. All right? Kaijus are not impossible. They are not impossible. There could be some other dimension.
We're both really stupid, man. Because I agree 100% with what everyone.
I know we're both real dumb. And that's why we're friends. But look, no. Hear me out. There are multiple universes, and if there are multiple universes, kaijus are not impossible. Fuck that. Kaijus are not impossible. And if a kaiju lands on Earth, we better have a crazy Korean robot that can go kick its ass. We better. It would be, oh man, if all of that was live streamed, that would be.
The thing, man, is that shit. Talk to me.
No. Okay. No, I was just gonna keep geeking out about robots and monsters.
No, the thing is that I think I say it to you that, for example, sometimes I just talking with my family in the dinner and the one taking the lunch, and they are today more than ever because we are in elections and they are discussing about who is running as anyway, who is going to win the elections. So I always talk to them like, what will happen if now a kaiju or an alien appears out of nowhere? Because that could happen. That will happen, and I don't know. That could happen anywhere. And if that happens, everything just don't matter. Not so suddenly you don't give a fuck about Petro and all these fuckers. Because
suddenly nations don't matter.
And then the method too is a valuable asset.
Oh man! Could you imagine like Trump, Putin, and the president of Japan, and the prime minister of Germany all arriving on helicopters to Korea to look at the method.
Let me see that shit.
To say to the man, you know what, young man, you've got to sell me the schematics for this robot, and all of them buy the copyrights to build their own method tools, and everyone goes to their own countries and they build huge machines. Oh my god, that would be a better planet to live in.
I think that's the dream of everything interesting in sci-fi or crazy enough to think that kaijus exist, because that is not that crazy when you think it. I mean, the same with the flat fucking earth. Like sometimes, but this is actually even more believable.
Connection.
Fuck. Hello.
I got cut out again.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
What I'm thinking is that this is way more believable than the Earth is flat. That is. Yeah. Actually, it's more. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Saying something, and that's think about it. When kaijus are more feasible than a certain theory, that says a lot about the theory.
Yeah.
That's very telling.
Damn it. Well,
but even and the thing is, when you're a grown up and that's the only downside to being a grown up, is that when you're thinking of these ideas, you then have to think, well, that would be terrible. Many lives would be lost, houses would be destroyed, like children would suffer. So it would be better if kaijus never showed up on Earth. It would be better, yeah. So yeah, when you're a grown up, you have to think that way, and it's a bummer. But if somehow there was a way of having huge robot fights without anybody dying or anybody suffering, that would be amazing. I would be all for that. I would vote in favor of that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
me too.
Oh man, and I would want to see a Colombian mech. It would look horrendous. It would be
The fun.
it would be very poorly built, maybe. Or
Who
maybe
knows? Who knows?
maybe we will be great about it. I don't know.
Hopefully we are not going to suck that much, because I don't want to see like a donkey. I don't know. I just fuck.
Donkey? What the hell?
Because I don't know how they call it, like esos carros, esas que tienen burros. I don't want to see a meg
Yeah.
or I don't know what is the name of these cars that are like buses, but people party on the
Yeah,
bus.
the Chivas.
That's
The
Chivas.
Chivas.
That's going to
That doesn't have
be
any-
that's our method to fuck my life.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant to a Chihuahua that turns into fucking prime. Yes.
Damn.
Oh, that's another thing. That's another thing. Like
Jose
once-
is going, man. I'm sorry if you are here.
Hey.
See you later, buddy. And thanks for being here. I really appreciate all your comments and well, all the comments that are saying in the chat.
We loved your comments, Jose.
Yeah.
Don't even say that. Don't even say that for a second. You were awesome to have in the stream. Thank you very much for watching or listening. I don't know. Whatever. So look, like once robots are mainstream, and once you see like every nation has their own mechs and stuff, and it's suddenly normal. Maybe 200 years from now, there's gonna be some crazy dudes saying, "Well, you know what? It's not crazy to think that they could fuse with each other and they could form a bigger one." They're gonna be thinking like, you know what? I want to see a Megazord, okay? And I'm not ashamed of it. I want to see a Megazord. I want to see Voltron. I want to see that. And then that's the next step. That's the normal progression. Because right now we're saying, okay, I'm not afraid to say I want to see a giant robot. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'll just say
But
it.
100 years from now, someone's gonna be saying, you know what? I want to see that robot in the shape of a tiger, and I want it to do a fusion with one that's shaped like a triceratops. And I'm not afraid to say that. I wanna see that. My country needs that. And you know what?
Damn it.
God bless them. That when that happens, that's gonna be super crazy. That's gonna be awesome.
That's going to be. Sadly, I don't know if I'm going to live to see that. I hope.
I think
You think so? Damn, man, you're cutting from the stream.
that's a passport. That's
Wait.
science.
Sorry, buddy,
Like-
you get caught. Bad issues with the internet. Repeat what you were saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Yeah, like I'm sure we're gonna see some crazy stuff. Because remember the robot that has a passport, Saudi Arabian
Okay,
passport.
yeah.
So if like that is the kind of thing that the old characters in the sci-fi movies, they say, I was alive when the first robot got its passport.
Yeah.
And we are those guys. We are those guys. We are the old guys that are. We are gonna say, "Oh, I was alive when drones were useless." that's stuff. We are those guys. So
Yeah.
we're gonna.
Fuck internet. I'm losing my shit right now, buddy.
I
Buddy,
think we're gonna see plenty.
man, we're having some issues. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh shit! What?
Yeah, you get caught. I don't know what's happening because my internet here says
Yeah,
that
I don't know either.
everything's cool. We are in green.
And my internet is supposed to be really good. I don't know what's happening either.
I think what happened is that people don't want to talk about this. There are people in listening and they are cutting us out.
Yeah. Oh man, the CIA. You know what's happening? The CIA is building droids. They are building droids already, and they don't want us to know about it. Yep.
Shit. We just figured
And
out.
they are, they're gathering a very elite group of 14-year-olds from around the world to pilot those zoids,
with mental
and
problems.
with mental problems, with heavy mental problems, and a great taste for masturbation. You know, they're all plenty horny. They're very horny.
Yeah.
All of them.
They are the future.
That's yeah, and they are the future. Oh man.
But imagine that in the future, people is going to say like, because nowadays with there is always this saying that kids are our future, you know. And imagine that our future is actually those fucking teenagers, horny teenagers, you know. So, and people is going to say it.
Hold on. So, it got cut. But what I heard was, you know what? In the future, they're gonna say, and then silence for like 9 seconds, and then fucking teenagers. That's all I heard. And I was like, well, yeah, everyone's always gonna be saying that. That's cool forever. Everyone's gonna be like, fucking teenagers.
No, well, I wasn't saying that, but yeah. Anyway, it's been quite interesting conversation. I think so.
I'm sorry I'm so loud, and I'm sorry I'm such an idiot. I have a great time though. I like
No, you're doing it great.
I don't know.
I mean, for me, it's easy to be in a stream with someone that wants to speak to me, and that sounds weird. But
That sounds.
what I mean is in English, you know, because most of my friends don't even want to talk in YouTube, and if it was in English, well, they would less want to join. And you are not always, I mean, not always, but when you are, it's quite funny to have you here.
Well, thank you. I'm very glad I could.
Sadly, the internet is fucking our stream, so.
And yeah, you know me. I'm talk shit.
You're an expert.
Yeah. I'm somewhat of an expert of just feeling empty air. I don't know.
You have a degree on that or what?
What?
You have a degree on that?
Yeah.
Because-
I should. By now, I should. I'm able to stream for 5 hours without shutting up. So.
I mean, for me, that's quite a challenge. Like, what the fuck? You are like all the day streaming, and it's like, seriously, buddy, you can do it alone? Because for me, it's quite hard.
You know what I do? When you were little, didn't you like when you were playing like maybe PS1 games or stuff? Didn't you like talk to the game? Like, weren't you like, oh fuck you?
Yeah,
I'm
obviously.
I'm gonna kill you, you fucking piece of shit. Like that. Like I do that. I turn that on with the game, but I try to pretty it up a little bit. Like I try that it's not just like, oh, fuck you, I'm gonna shoot you now. I try that it's not that simple, but it is that. It's the same spirit of that, only as an adult. So it's like it's only slightly more sophisticated,
Or pathetic. I don't know.
quote unquote, of course. But yeah, that's what I do. I just talk as if I was a lonely child playing video game, and that's it.
Well, that's quite
And I have a
impressive.
And you know what? I want to say this like right now. I am doing pretty good. Like some random people show up, and I've never experienced that in the way that it has happened in English playing video games.
People
Like
reaching?
a lot of people showed up last time. They were commenting, they were subscribing, they were watching other videos from the same channel. Like I've never experienced such a good start. It's pretty impressive. I think I'm gonna keep doing it, and I think it has a future actually.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
I'm happy to right now because there are 14 people listen to us. So that means that there are people that are actually willing to hear us in this language. So that's quite cool.
Well, maybe they turned off the audio and they
Listen,
just-
fuck
they
you.
just watch-
They are listening to
That just- I mean, I don't mean to be a bummer, but that's a chance. That's a possibility.
Get out of here. They are fucking listening.
Nah. I'm joking. I'm sure. Like, there has to be.
There has
Actually,
to be, yeah. Someone has to be listening to that. They can be just putting our stream for nothing.
And who also didn't mind us going in a rant about all the weird sci-fi thoughts that we have. Like that's that has to be real. There have to be plenty of subscribers that fall into that category. Uh, Look, and actually, they were adding up to our Colombian mech theory. Julio says it should have a marimonda face, like one of those things
Yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
the carnival. Yeah, a giant chiva. That would be fucking. Oh,
That would be
embarrassing.
yeah, really, really embarrassing. Like our mech being no man, that would be so embarrassing. Like
That
imagine
would be
imagine
cringy.
the mech from Russia and the one from Germany and the one from us stepping aside of them. I would be like, damn it.
You know what I would like from us? You know what I would like from us?
What?
And it would be a cool like South American mech. I would like in this amazing future that the the protectorate of South America gets formed. So all nations come into one.
Yeah,
And they
that would
have
be really cool.
one government and one parliament, all the representatives, and it's all of that budget all into one super nation of South America, which is like a huge continent, right? And our mech could be something that looks like a turtle, and I imagine it coming out of the Amazon River. Like it's some kind of like super awesome green thing
Now we're
that's
talking.
that's specialized in tropical weather, and it can take all kinds of humidity. It can go underwater, it can go into mountains, it can do everything, and it's like a tank. It's like super strong. And
Fuck. Buddy, we lost him. We lost you.
because when we were in the Amazon, the a huge turtle, and it looked great. Like I saw that shell and I got plenty of ideas from that. It's very interesting. Like there's tons of very cool animals that could like create concepts for very cool stuff. Like when you normally when one thinks of a South American country doing something that the mainstream Western nations have done in entertainment, normally you think of silly stuff. Like if you think of South American Terminator, you think
Yeah.
it's all comedy, like it's all parody. But maybe not. Maybe there could be some super cool things to do. Like if you're willing to take your nation seriously, there could be some really cool stuff to do. There could be some awesome concepts. Like we have deserts, we have mountains, we have plenty of interesting
We have a lot of
creatures.
diversity, so that's actually a plus because
Plus we have
we can create a lot of
jaguars.
yeah. There is a lot of
We
things
have
to,
jaguars.
if you think about concepts, yeah, South America has a lot to actually create. So it
It has
wouldn't
a
be
lot to
weird.
draw from.
Yeah, probably
We could draw from the Thunderbird actually, because there was a huge bird that lived in South America. Imagine like a gigantic crow that could eat like human-sized animals, like, a huge thing, and a concept could be made with that. That's fucking scary. We had the Titanoboa, the biggest
oh
snake
yeah, that shit is
that
here
has ever
in
existed.
Colombia.
That shit's from here, and that we really could make some fucking crazy shit with that.
Yeah, sure, we can, but we're not gonna. We're going to create a mecha chiva, mecha chiva, a giant mecha chiva.
Chivas, that's plenty of. Don't have to focus on that. We could have a cool mech.
Yeah.
Could really have a cool mech.
Hopefully we will have a cool mech. And hopefully the world is going to came to a point where we are going to fight in mechs for the sake of the world.
I truly hope that. At least, I hope in 10 years, in less than 10 years, the first international conflict, like the first fight between two interests, will be resolved by two drones with machine guns going at each other. I hope that happens in tops 15 years from now.
Or
If that happens,
what? Damn it! Jaime, fuck my life.
just put a gun.
Wait.
Oh,
Because you got
what?
you got caught in. If that happened, and that was the last
Oh,
that I heard.
oh no, yeah, but that's pretty much it. Like, if
Okay.
if within 15 years, one nation sends one drone and another nation sends another drone with a gun, and they go at each other, and one drone wins. If that happens within 15 years, I think we're on our way to stop losing soldiers at war, to stop killing innocent people, to stop all of that. I think I hope that happens. I hope that happens soon. That two nations just fight.
You know,
And
I don't give a fuck about if these mechs have legs or arms. I just want to see mechs fighting each other. Doesn't matter how. Oh man, this stream is falling apart. I think I'm going
yeah,
to.
you got cut again.
I'm going to.
sorry.
Yeah, just. I'm going to leave it like. Well, I think I finished my study. Actually, I finished this portrait or whatever I was doing. It is not perfect, but I think the values are okay. So I'm going to leave it like that. And yeah,
You did some great stuff with the shirt. That's actually what impresses me the most.
I could spend more time on it, but I think I just spent too much time in just study. Normally, I don't like to get that caught into something because I don't know. But I think this stream was worth it. So yeah, it was quite fun.
Well, thank you very much for having me, my man.
No, be here wherever you. I would say this: if you have free time, wherever you want, it's here. Like just come here and talk to me. I will give you empanadas. I will give you. I don't know.
Talk to me, man.
It's really.
Jeez. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course I will. Of course I will. You know I will.
Well,
I
anyway,
love hanging out.
let me see how many people were to the end. 15 people. Well, that's so cool, man. Honestly, that's great. 15 people listen to us just saying that mechs are going to save the world. That's my big. I think. Well, I can die now. Well, I can not because I need to see. I need to see the Oasis. But
We need to do this, yeah.
well, anyway, thank you for being here, and thank you to everyone that was listening. Probably next week I will make more streams, and yeah, that's it. I don't know if you want to say something.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for not leaving the second you realized that I was here as well.